Alright, today we're going to do something slightly more interesting, and we're not in the lab right now, but we are in my other lab, I guess. I'm going to build a Raspberry Pi for OctoPi. And so, what do I have here? I have the Vilros Raspberry Pi kit, which comes with a couple of cool things, and I'll show you. It comes with a couple of heat sinks, some screws, and some feet. This happens to be their kit that has the aluminum case. Comes with a nice tool, which is handy. And this is the fan-cooled case. I went with fan-cooled because I didn't trust the heatsink sort of style. Seems like I've built some Pi 3s before. I don't know how hot a Pi 4 gets. This is the Pi 4 with 8 gig of RAM. So let's get started putting this thing together, and then we're going to do a start to finish OctoPi connection to the Anycubic Vyper and see how all that works. I haven't done this before specifically, certainly not for this printer. So we'll put this together and then move on, and it's really pretty simple. This kit comes with almost everything you need. Now, almost, what's it missing? And there are lots of kits. I've built a bunch of these Vilros kits for my work, and we've had good luck with them. They've been running for, they've been powered on for years now, and they've been pretty reliable. So I guess it's really Pi that makes the board, but their kits, this case, I used the heat sink style cases for work, but I like their nice aluminum case. It helps dissipate some heat. I think plastic tends to hold in some of the heat, and I didn't want that. I also like that the power adapter that comes with these kits has an on-off switch right on the adapter. This is the USB-C model, and then the kit also comes with a micro HDMI to standard HDMI adapter for monitor. And like I said, it has the heat sinks. So, first things first, boy, this is going back old school time. Normally I would like to get a grounding strap and make sure that I'm grounded and I'm not going to shock the board. If you have a high build of static electricity, you really should either make sure you're statically discharged or use a static strap. I like to have a nice static strap or a static mat when I'm working with any of these. What I'm going to do is make sure it's not winter time where I'm at, so that's okay. But I'm going to just, the other thing this kit came with was this nice little soft case that says Vilros on it. You probably can't see that, but it's a nice little soft carrying case that'll fit your Pi and accessories nicely. So let's get building. The Vilros kit also comes with a nice quick start guide. Walk you through the whole process. If you're new to Pi, Raspberry Pi will show you sort of all of what you need. Oh, I was talking about something. It comes with almost everything you need. The other thing you need is, of course, you need a MicroSD card. I purchased the A2 style SanDisk. Why A2? Because it has higher throughput for applications, since I intend to run OctoPi, probably some plugins. Some of the plugins that I'm looking to put on here have higher input-output sort of disk access and activity and things, and so I wanted something that would be able to handle that. So you're going to need, of course, a SD card to put into the Pi, which is upside down, into the Pi. And, like I said, this is a Pi 4 Model B. I happen to get the 8 gig of RAM, but I'm sure you could even use for OctoPi something like a 3 or a 4 with even probably 2 gig of RAM would be fine. It's going to depend on how much other things you're going to want to do with your Pi. So we'll handle the operating system install and stuff in a different part, but I'm feeling like we can get these heat sinks installed. And if you're new to Raspberry Pi, it's pretty cool. You can get a Pi Model B with 8 gig, I think, right around the $85 mark here in the US on Amazon by itself. Those are on, nice and secure. Side note, the SD card sits in this little slot here, and so you'll want to put this in and then make sure that that's accessible. These will be accessible. You have a ribbon cable here that can come out. These are for things like an onboard camera, stuff like that. You'll want to get your red wire to pin 1. Pin 1. I don't know if you can see that. Pin 1 being the pin closest into the motherboard, not closest to the edge. Down here, this corner, pin 1. Okay? That's where our red post connects. And then you're going to want to count 7. You've got pin 1. The odd side of this pin series is towards the motherboard. The even side is out here on the outer edge. So you're going to want pin 14 for your black wire and pin 1 for your red wire. So pin 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 14, which is on this side, right? Okay, cool. And then it's really just that easy. Now we're going to want to make sure our wires are out of the way here. It's just that easy, folks. And then we have a pretty cool looking, all our ports are here. Another thing to note, if you're only going to run one monitor, it's recommended you use the port closest to the power. So this is the USB-C for power, your 2 monitors. Power, monitor, and then this will do audio and video, like a breakout type of composite cable if you have that. So if you're only running one monitor, you'll want to use this one, which is closest to your power. Okay, now that our setup is complete, just pop in our screws, and we'll be done with the physical build out of our Pi. Like I said, there are loads of places you can get a Pi from. Heck, you can get them right from Raspberry Pi's website. You can get them from Amazon pretty easily. These kits, what differentiate them is really just kind of the accessories and things they come with. I like this power supply. It's a nice quality power supply, and I like that it has its own on-off switch. The case is a pretty good quality case. So I think if you were to buy a case similar to this by itself, you'd probably be paying, I don't know, somewhere like $12 or something on Amazon. So if you start having to buy things like the case, the power supply, potentially a adapter if you don't already have one, you know, it's going to be a mix and match of what you have versus what you need if you already have some parts on hand. If you're just going to take the Pi and maybe print your own case, for example, if you're not too worried about heat, things like that, or if you're going to attach it in a different way or house it in a different way, then maybe you don't need something that comes with as robust a case as this. I really wanted something that, like I said, was a metal-based case, and something that had a fan on it just in case. Some of the plugins I plan on using I expect to be. So there you go. Here's your nice little Pi, and it comes with these little rubber feet, which I will put on right now. And we'll get on to the software piece.
Okay, everybody.
now we're going to move on to the piece where we install the Raspberry Pi operating system onto our SD card, micro SD card, let me be specific. So I chose a 128 gigabyte micro SD card. That's definitely way more than you need to do the essentials with a Raspberry Pi, but like I said, I'm planning this out with a couple of plugins that I intend to use, some time-lapse videos, some other things, and I don't know exactly how much storage I'll need. So I think this 128 gig SanDisk that is A2 performance, which is sort of higher throughput, higher IOPS, which is how much data movement can be, throughput can happen on the card. A2 is higher than A1. So like I said, I have a few different micro SD cards kicking around, but I wanted to get this rolling with off on the right foot, and I can kind of set it up and add to it. And what you're seeing here is the raspberrypi.org/software. You'll need their new imager tool, which is cool because in the past I've used a third-party imaging tool, but now Raspberry Pi makes their own imaging tool, which is cool. And then what you'll need is the latest image of OctoPi from octoprint.org/download. Okay, and if it's not obvious, you have to scroll down to latest stable, which is what I grabbed, and then you can do it that way. Or if you want to grab the latest nightly build, you can grab the 32 or 64-bit. Okay. Let's grab the files we need. So let's fire up this imager. It'll probably ask me for admin access. Yes. Okay. It's a shame that it isn't an executable that will just run, but fine. We'll let that run. It's saying choose OS. We will look for other specific purpose OS, which is what we have. And here's our buddy OctoPi. Definitely the better path is to grab the downloader, fire up the Raspberry Pi imager, and for whatever reason, this is going to grab a 2021 January 25th image, whereas on the Octoprint stable, latest stable, if you download it, what you're going to get is a December 2nd, 2020. And this happens to say January 10th, 2021 image, if you look by the date modified here. But the date of the build that they provided was December. In any event, in either case, the image you'll get here is even newer. So let's go with that one. There's my mass storage device. Now, it looks like those are the three pieces you need. Pick your operating system, pick your storage device, and write. But wait. And thanks to, by the way, if you don't watch this dude's videos, this Thomas, his 3D printing and his Octoprint guide on this, especially with the plugins, is awesome. All his videos are great. So highly recommend his channel. In any event, he recommends this, but it's also part of the instructions right here. And says, right before you pick your advanced options, you want to hit Shift Control X, which will bring up some extra advanced options. You can't get them anywhere else. They're not available by clicking anywhere on this launcher. I don't know why there isn't a little button that says advanced options, but in any event, they tell you right here, make sure you open our advanced options, and that's Shift Control X. Customization for this option only, that's fine. Oh, let's set the host name to OctoPi.local because that's cool. We'll enable SSH. I'll set a password. Okay. You set your host name, your SSH user, your Wi-Fi SSID, and password. And then save that and write. Everything's going to get wiped out. That is fine by me. And it's going to attach to the drive. It'll write, and it'll be done. And then we can move on from there. It's complete. This is done. You can close this out, and it automatically ejects. So now what you would do is check this, put it in your Pi, and boot it up. Okay. Because my wireless network at home uses MAC filtering, I had to plug my OctoPi or Raspberry Pi into the network. When I did, though, I was able to get an IP of one on the LAN. And when you do that, you can browse HTTP or HTTPS. There is a self-signed certificate there. And then you pop into, hello, thank you for using Octoprint. And then you can just say, unless otherwise noted, you may just skip any wizard by clicking next or finish. Cool. Would you like to restore from a backup? No, it's brand new, so we'll keep going. If you haven't configured access control yet, it is mandatory. Set up a username and password that will have full access. Okay. After you create your user, this is a great one. Configure anonymous usage tracking. No. This is a personal choice. For now, I'm going to click disable. I don't think there's any harm in connectivity check. To protect against known severe issues with third-party plugins, there is a plugin disallowed list to automatically disable plugins before they can interfere with your operation. I think we will enable plugin deny lists. I think that is fine. Alright, now here's where things get interesting. You'll want to set up your printer. My printer is going to be the Anycubic Vyper. Bed and volume. It's a rectangle. Origin is bottom left. That's true. It is a heated bed. The specs are 245, 245, and 260. After you fill in all your printer info, you can click Finish. Here's our friend, Octoprint. Now I'm going to try to get this set up on my Wi-Fi so that we can get this all connected. One thing before I move this down and to connect it to my printer, I wanted to install all of the plugins I was hoping to set up. So I added Octolapse, which is a time-lapse camera control plugin. I also added Pretty G-Code, which will give you a better visualization of your G-code when you have that running on your printer. I also added Exclude Region, which allows you to, in the middle of the print, if something happens to go wrong with one of the parts, you can use Exclude Region to prevent that part of the build plate from being printed to, which should in effect rescue your other parts. And last but not least, I'm going to add Touch UI, and I just want to show you how to install a plugin while we have the opportunity. So if you click on your little gear, pop over to Plugin Manager and Get More here, and then just search for what you want. I'm going to look for something called Touch UI, which is right here. Install. It goes through this little display of what's being done. It says done, successfully installed. You say close and restart. It's pretty much that easy. And then it'll do the restart. You'll see this. Your OctoPi device or your Raspberry Pi device will be offline. And at some point it'll say please reload, and you can reload. And then of course you want to safely shut down. You can do that here with the shutdown system. So I'm going to do this, and then in the next video I think we will connect this up to the Anycubic Vyper and do a test print and look at some of these plugins also. So that one will be kind of long, so I want to break this up into 2 parts. In any event, thanks for watching. I hope you found this a helpful video as far as getting all the way from a Raspberry Pi box to a working OctoPi system that you can connect to.